curl your low back off the mat and then lower back down. And we're gonna start with your lower back articulating up, breathe in, and exhale, lower down, and go up, and down, inhale, and just as long as you need to get that low back warmed up. And up, so we're waking up the spine, we're waking up the legs, we're waking up the glutes, and you want to feel like you have the space underneath your neck. Your hands gently frame the floor, your shoulder blades are on the mat. Good. Hi. Hi guys, I'm glad you're coming in. I was hoping there wasn't anything technical going on. Curl up. And then let's just do another couple and Michelle can join in. Michelle, we're doing some bridging where we're waking up each part of our back. And bridging is something you can never do too many of. All right, the next time that your hips are up, you can leave them up and just make sure they're even. So I like to even put my hands on the hip bones and double check. There's no tension in your back. And the glutes are both right, left, 50% firing and 50% in the hamstrings. So there's an evenness in your feet. You're not crimping your toes. There's 4 corners of alignment on your feet. Take an inhale. Now on your exhale, we're going to lower the spine down and then just touch the flexibility of the hip. So take the right ankle to the left thigh. Reach your hands through. And I'm going to add a little rock here. You might even move your toes and ankles. We're waking up the body. Breathe in. And as you exhale, feel that tension release out of your body and mind. Now we're going to do the other side, left ankle to right thigh. Reach your hands through the window. You can clasp your fingers. And then if you'd like to add a rock, do that. Spread your toes. Maybe even roll the ankles. Breathe in. Breathe in through your nose if you can, and breathe in fully, and maybe also exhale out of your nose. So it's a fuller breath than in everyday life. Feel the tension just roll away, just melt away. And then we're going to come back to the bridging, and we'll add a little bit of our single work. So first curl up and let your hips be even. Once they're even, we're going to take the right leg and we're doing a little bit of a leg pull. So you're going to point and flex. Now your goal is to try to keep the hips level even though one leg's not helping. And 5, and really reach through that leg that's in the top, that's in the air. 9, 10. Now let that foot down and then realign. Go up and flex down, and up and flex down, and 3, 4, feel your hips are level. 5, good, long knee as your hamstring warms up, your knee might lengthen. 9, good, 10, and then let that foot come down. Now once you've established your even, take your right toes up and point them. Now drop your hips all the way to the mat. Curl up, drop your hips all the way to the mat, curl up. So we're going to take 10 of these single bridges. My left knee almost just traveled out. So another goal of this is that your knee stays over the ankle of the working leg, the bridging leg. Now we're going to take the right foot down on the floor, and we're going to take the left toes up and gently point through your foot as you drop down to the floor, your sacrum, and then you come up. So you're going all the way down and up. Good, inhale. Good, your neck is soft. 8, 9. Now we're going to put that left foot down and lift up the right leg, and this time we're going to pull the toes back. I'm trying to see space between all the toes. And push up. I want to see space between all the toes. You can see how we're integrating foot cues. So that we prevent shuffling, improve balance, improve gait, improve the way our body absorbs shock when we walk. Now let that right foot down, lift up your left leg, pull your toes back, and see if you can see space between your left toes. Spread out that left foot like it's a humongous fan, a big fan, space between the toes, right hip working. So I know we're doing a few things. We are able to layer that on the best we can, and that helps the mind stay with neuroplasty. Okay, we're going to take the thighs in and just give your low back, I like to add a little rock here, give your low back a little stretch, give your glutes a little stretch. Reach your hands between your knees and hold on to your feet or your ankles. And I like to take the big toes too, because then you can spread them away from the middle of your foot. Those toes tend to get deviated inward. So we're stretching that out, and the inner thighs. 5, bound ankle. 4, 3, 2. Now lengthen the left leg all the way down. Lift up the right leg all the way tall. Now there's a psoas stretch and a hamstring stretch. Your hands frame the floor. You're pointing through your toes. Draw a circle, very large. And your goal is to try to keep the shoulder blades down, ribs down, and enjoy a humongous circle. And notice you can release tension in the body where it doesn't need to be. So let's go the other way. Your jaw is soft. Your shoulders are only as slightly tensed as they need to be to stabilize. Face is soft. Breath is full. The breath will drive the nervous system into a state of calm, even though we're exercising. Now we're going to leave the right leg up, and I like to use the hands in a clasp position behind the thigh. We're going to point and flex, spread out the toes, contract, spread out the toes, contract, spread out the toes, contract, spread, and contract. Now we're going to take that right leg down, take the left leg up, and then now you're going to point through that foot and draw circles. And Karen, you look good. You might like a little bit of a mat underneath your head. I'll show you a trick. One trick is just take your mat and kind of fold it like this. I think your head alignment, your neck, yes, that's good. Just something little, and tell me if that feels better. I bet it does. So when you lie down, if you feel like your chin kind of lifts a little bit, the modification is to just put a little something under your head so that your ear can be more in line and jawline perpendicular to the floor. All right, guys, let's go the other way. Karen, does that feel a little bit better? Yeah, I thought so. It's these tiny little things. So it's nothing, I don't see anything egregious. I just make tiny little edits. It's progress over perfection. So it's just ways to support your body towards wellness, and that'll help the neck. Now when this is the 10th one, hold on to the underside of your thigh and spread out the toes in a flex, dorsiflexion, and then point. And then spread out the toes as you dorsiflex, as you pull your toes towards you, and then point. So you can probably see and feel what you're trying to do. Spread and point and spread and point and spread and point. You're working that foot, you're working the intrinsic foot muscles. All right, we're going to take them both in the air and just move your ankles into circles, humongous circles. Yeah, just get them really warmed up. We know that ankle flexibility helps with preventing low back pain. Now we're going to leave the legs glued and then let your hands be beside your hips. We're going to draw 10 corkscrews. Your goal is to keep your shoulder blades down. 2. The lower you go, the more demanding or challenging it is to keep the ribs down. 4, and 7. Good. And 8. All right, this time let's take a happy baby stretch. Open the knees a bit so they would be on either side of your rib cage. Again, I'm going to sneak in a foot stretch. So what I'm going to add on, you can pull your big toe away from your second, and I'm actually putting my pinky finger between my pinky toe and my third. So I'm spreading them out. Inhale. And then I'm going to offer us a sip of water. I can tell that my voice needs a little bit of a lubricant, so I'm going to offer it for us all. So let's come on up and take a sip, and we'll change our body. When you talk all day, your vocal cords need lubrication. Here we go. All right, we're going to be adding on some swan work. As you know, this is some of my favorite work. So we can be belly down. And we're going to do a forearm sphinx just to start. Now I know that this is a modification. I'm going to offer that your toes are in if you have any kind of tightness in your low back. So it's called internal rotation. That opens up the SI joint. Now, if you care to add on, your hands can push you up higher. The forearm sphinx, though, is a fabulous exercise, so if that one's better for you, take it. And that was good. So your elbows point down towards the floor. Draw your shoulders down. That was better, Betty. Did you feel that? That was like a ½ inch. That was awesome. Breathe in. Sometimes when I say a cue, I feel like you guys know who I'm talking to, even if I don't say the name. I've ESP'd it to you. So Betty, you got that. Good. Breathe in. All right, that was an exhale to lower. Now take a moment. We're going to do it again. And you can do a forearm sphinx, or your hands can push you up. Now that full breath. That looks better, you can tell. Yep. And that works good for you too, Karen, is when the hands are more forward, it makes you not be up so high, so it lets you get your shoulder blades in the right place. And that looks great. Michelle, I have a perfect view of you underneath your dog. Your dog's framing you perfectly. All right, take an inhale. And see that? And then exhale, lower. Okay, relax for a minute. Now, a moment, Now breathe in, come on up. Either a forearm position or hands. In yoga, this is cobra pose, because the image is you come up like a cobra out of a basket. So your shoulder blades down the back, you're peeling up. Feel this with your big inhale. Exhale, lower. Now I'm going to have us put our arms like a pillow underneath your forehead or your cheek. Lengthen your right leg up, and then lengthen your left leg up. Keep going at your own pace. The goal is to try to keep the pelvis stable and not disturb it right or left. Also scan your neck and shoulders and make sure there's no tension. Lengthen and lift. The glutes and the hamstrings are it's very common these days for people to have gluteal amnesia, and that dysfunction can create low back dysfunction. So what we do every single class, you notice, I fire up the glutes somehow. Our people, we should not have any of that problem. So I want you to know you're taking care of that. If you're reading something and you hear about that, you're getting it taken care of. Glutes and hamstrings. Now this time, you're going to be adding on a flutter. So it's like you're swimming laps and your legs are both off the floor. And of course, if this is too hard, go back to the other one I just layered, the single leg lifts. But this is more demanding of the glute and the hamstring here. And then relax for a moment. We're going to do one called heel beats. Lift up your legs. Your toes are going to hit each other, or your heels, depending on how you're oriented. I'm internally rotated, so my toes are hitting each other. Breathe in. And now we're going to push back to a child's pose. Press your hands into the floor. And we're going to do a couple. One is feet flat, low back stretch. Now we're going to add the toes. So all the toes pull under. You see how I try to sneak in foot stretches. Heels straight up and down. Let your hands help you. Push. Now your feet go flat and then bend your elbows. This is a tricep add-on. Pat yourself on the back. And then you're going to be walking back out to your belly. I'm going to offer another sip. And then we're going to go back out to our belly. And the hands are going to be more beside your pelvis this time, palms face down. Breathe in, lift. Now lift your thighs, and everything's sort of hovering. Neck is soft. I'm going to check that though. Yeah, palms down. That's right, Karen. Yep. Lift up. Feel like your head can retract just a little bit towards the sky, Karen. Yep, that's it. Isn't that nice? Okay, breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2. Now relax, and if you would like to take the hands at the low back, you can either rest one on the other or interlace them. If you feel really flexible today, push your palms together. So you have a little penny between your palms you have to hold on to. Here we go. Breathe in. You have a prickly pear berry between your palms. Lift up. I harvested them in the desert 2 days ago. So I'm all about prickly pear berries right now. Put a prickly pear berry between your palms. Lift up your torso, lift up your toes. Every inhale, you're going to feel your back go up. As your belly fills, your back goes higher. Relax for a moment, and if you are interlaced, and it looks like everybody is, flip which hand's on the outside. So now my other pinky's on the outside. Here we go. Come up. Relax. Child pose. Push back. Now any of those that you liked before, you can take. Rest here. Nice. Grab a sip, and we're going to touch some of those planks. Planks are a really nice way to work the abs. You guys saw in the newsletter, my 82-year-old did a 2-minute plank, and then the next day her husband came in and did a 2-minute plank because he didn't want to be outdone. It was great. He said, I want to do it too. So I'm going to write about him in the next newsletter. 2-minute plank. And he did it on his hands, not his forearms. We're going to do about 20 seconds here, guys. So here we go. We're going to touch these areas. Now, about 20, your goal is your shoulder blades are wide on the back. The belly would drop and the low back would sag if we didn't put our attention there. So you've got this neutral ear, shoulder, rib, hip, knee position. Energize the knees. The heels are straight up and down. Now, I'm going to grab something for this next one. We're going to do a side plank. Where's my prop? I'll just fold my mat and take there it is. Take a side plank, and we're going to hold. So you have a static, what I like to do is have a static version of a posture that's weight bearing on our arms so that we really get those cues before we add all this dynamic. So it's shoulder blade down the back, it's hip lifted, it's head back against an imaginary wall. Take an inhale. Now we're going to lower our hip and we're going to go to the other side. That's my universal symbol for switch sides. I flip the finger. So go to a side plank static first. Establish static stability before mobility. So your shoulder blades down the back, your hip is lifted, your knees are long, your head's against an imaginary wall. I like to stretch out that top hand. It's good for the nerves because the hands are almost always folded in. So stretch out and then lower. Really good. Now we're adding mobility, but you know that if you need to come back to a move, your edit, your modification is to do the stable. So we're gonna come back to the plank and we're gonna lift our hips a little bit. So sometimes this is called dolphin. You lift your hips so the heels press towards the floor, and then you come back into plank. And that was one. You're gonna change your head position. You shift back, you're in dolphin, and then you come back to plank. That's two. Lift your hip, you're in dolphin, come back to plank. Three. Lift your hips, come back to dolphin. Four. Lift your hips, come back to dolphin and hold this. 5, 4, 3, 2, and recover. Nice job. Now we're gonna do a side plank and we're gonna do a elbow, I call it a triangle. You're gonna make your arm like a triangle near your head. Come up with your inhale. We're gonna do 5 of these rotations. Keep your hips stable though. Open up. Good. You can pull that elbow back for a stretch. 3. Inhale. 4. Good. One more. 5. Now let your hip down. Let's switch it up. This is going to be a side plank. Your fingers or your knuckles, I like to even fold the knuckles so my wrists don't get any extra tension on them. Inhale. Or fold my fingers. 1. Open up. Stretch back. 2. Hips are stable. 3. 4. 5. And lower your hip. Really good. All right, we're going to go back to this front plank here. In this front plank, we're going to do one called rock and roll. It's a hip dip. It's a slight rotation. So the forearms are down. Your legs are strong, long. Now leave your scapula the same. Leave your torso and just barely tilt your left hip down like you're going to touch water with your left hip and then your right hip. Just barely rotate. Neck is easy. Feel your obliques. And 4, 3, 2, and 1. And I can really feel my obliques on that on each side. I hope you did too. The next one is going to be a sideways move. And we're going to take lateral flexion, paint the sky. We're going to take 5 good ones. So we're not rushing, we're feeling it. Do the best you can. One hand's on the hip. Come up, here we go. Now when you lift your arm, your hips do go higher. And then you come down, but you don't go down so far that your hips touch the floor. You're more accenting the top part of this range of motion. The arm, the shoulder, head against an imaginary wall so it's not poking forward. Bottom shoulder blade down the back. That was 5. Now the hip comes down. Really good job. This is my props so my forearm is comfortable. Make sure your bones are comfortable. This hand starts at your thigh. Get ready. Here we go. We're in plank. We're going to go up and over and up and over. 3, 4, 5. Nice. And then let's come down. Let's grab a sit. That was a fun block of some planks. We're doing really good on the different types of motions that we're working at all planes. So your body's strong at all planes. This next one, you might also want a little padding for your knee. That's up to you. I'll demo it. So your shins are on the floor. One leg's going to come out. Now I'm going to also do this little folding of my fingers so that the wrists are neutral. You're going to dip down. We're going to do a 6 lateral flexion here. So dip. Good. Keep your whole body against an imaginary wall so you're not folded at the hips. Take 2 more. Notice how if you go lower, it's harder. Now we're going to be adding 6 rotations. So go down the same way you just did, but when you come up, you turn your torso towards that extended leg. You dip. You turn that torso towards the extended leg. Inhale. Good. Now we're going to take a few stretches. One is over. Now, yeah, your hands gently on the leg. It's never pushing down on the knee. Rotate down. Inhale, rotate up. So we are milking this lateral flexion. We're getting all the angles and stretching out through the fingers. Breathe in. You can even feel this in the front hip when you've got it. There you go. Now this hand, it might want a roller or a yoga block. I'm going to do it on the floor. It's either way, whatever feels good. Back leg further back. Top arm up and back. Lift up. So you're adding this little extension in this hip, and the heart lifts up. Spinal extension. Lengthen to the elbow if you can. Breathe in. Now we're going to go to the other side. So let's, if you need to adjust anything, do. Leg out. You're in this long line. You got it, Michelle. It's fingertips here. Dip. Lateral flexion. Dip. Exhale as you do the hard work, which is the coming up. Dip. Let's do that. Inhale. Now what we're going to add on is the rotation. So when you go down, it's the same. Now turn towards the leg. Breathe in. And so you may already notice if you change the cadence of an exercise, you're working a little differently. Your mind is on board. It has to stay focused, and rather than go into auto mode. One more. Good. And then you're stretching. So hands out, hand down, up and over. I'm always making sure we're not pushing into that knee. Your top arm, it's almost like someone's pulling you. Now let's milk it. Shall we? Rotate down. Rotate up. Take that inhale. Now it's like you're going over a fence, up and over. If you need a prop underneath your hand, you can use it. Another trick is just to fold your knuckles, your fingers under. Back leg is behind you. It's like you're draping over a big football. Push your arm, your hips up, push your spine up, your heart up. Beautiful. Lift, lift, lift. Stretch out through the fingers. Inhale. And now you're going to come back into a linear line and then come back up. Terrific. Now we're going to neutralize that with a child's pose. Come down, hips low, relax. Inhale. And then perfect. Let's grab a sit and we're going to do some sideline work. And this is, you could use a pillow or you could use your arm. I'm going to demonstrate with my arm folded under. You could use a pillow though. The main goal is that the neck is in a safe alignment. So when you're in a long line, you can still see your toes. Your toes aren't behind you. Now this leg, I'm going to think about it as flexible. Flexibility is my goal. So I am working on strength to go up, and I'm making sure I'm working the flexibility. Breathe in. The bottom leg gently pushes into the floor. It's framing. You're framing your body. 6, and work that ankle. So you notice how we're layering some cues. Flex. 7.8. You've got some lumbo-pelvic stability in here. 9. Do 10 complete ones. Now this leg, make sure you have enough space. I'm going to move forward, point forward, and work the flexibility of the hamstring. Now work the flexibility of the hip flexor. Hamstring, working flexibility. So hamstring, hip flexor. Make sure you're not poking the ribs forward so your low back's not doing this. Your leg is independent of the rest of your body. You can use these fingers like little teepees. Breathe in, a little support, not a neck grip, but just a little support. 9, 10. Now, the same leg is going to point and go up and around. Go up and around. Good. 4. Now we're going to go 5 the other way, the same leg, go backwards. 5. I'm kind of trying to work the huge range of motions, a circle or a D. 3. Big. 4. Do 5. So it's one more. Up. Now this leg that we just worked, catch it. Catch it with your hand, catch it with your Dynaband, catch it however you want, your thigh. Now I want to see if you feel a stretch in here. Make sure it's not just sit bone or knee. Hold it. Enjoy it. This is a yoga stretch too, called Anantasana. The bottom foot gently frames you so you feel like you're able to concentrate on the stretch, that you're not going to fall. Keep lengthening that knee if it will. Keep pulling the toes back. Keep relaxing with the breathing. That a girl. Inhale. How lovely is that? All right, this leg that we just stretched is now in front of the other. Now, this hip's getting a passive stretch. Take the bottom leg and point up, flex down. There's not as much room. Point, flex. Point, in other words, your leg won't get as high as the other one. 3, but go up as high as your brain can let you. So sometimes the brain stops us. You go up as high as you can. Good. Sometimes you get ½ an inch more than your brain tries to tell you. It's geared to get you out of work and pain sometimes. So we're going up. 9, as high as we can. 10. Now the same leg, we're going to point forward, flex back. Point forward, flex back. Point forward. Inhale. Work that ankle. The knee stays long on the bottom leg. Feel your waist pull up away from the floor as well. Breathe in. That leg, it's going to be doing 5 circles each way. We've got really nice melons at the farmer's market now, so I'm imagining you're circling a melon. Go the other way. Circle that melon the other way. All right, guys, let's do everything on the other side. And if you want to sit in the middle of that, do it. Think to yourself, what move comes next? So it's a brain exercise too, to practice memory, to practice. You remember a long time ago, people used to memorize pose and numbers. So we used to have more inherent ways to memorize things. So now we kind of have to go after it, don't we? So think to yourself, what's next? And I gotta get my mic out of the way. You're going to be doing a leg up, point up, as high as you can, flex. Work that foot, point up, as high as you can, flex. Point up, and flex. And inhale, there's a little belly pull in. Good, go a little higher if you can, as your body warms up, or maybe your knee will lengthen. Okay, work that ankle. This also flosses the nerve. All right, that was 10. Make sure you have enough room behind you. Point. Point, and your torso is a unit and your femur is independent of that. So it's called differentiation or specification. You're not wiggling the torso to get that leg to move. You can even use a little TP on the floor, your fingers. Yeah, just not neck tension. Work that hamstring flexibility and hip flexor. 9. And then just ask yourself, do you remember what the next one is? I bet you do. 5 circles. Point, up. Good, neck is soft. Breathing. Feel your waist working. Feel there's a little thing called an oblique window where you lift your oblique away from the floor. Okay, go the other way. So my leg's getting tired. Can you feel yours getting tired? Good, ask your abs to help you stabilize. There's a little tension here, stability. Now the next one's my fave. Go up and hold any way you can. Grab a Pilates ring if you want, Karen, or a Dynaband. There's no reason you should feel like there's a something other than flexibility stopping you. You know, you want to set yourself up for benefit. That's my girl. So now you've got a little assist and you don't feel like you're struggling in your upper body to do this. So if anyone can, you lengthen that knee. So I notice my knee could lengthen more. Yeah, grab that, Betty. There's some disciplines in yoga and Pilates that don't do props, or in yoga that don't do props. I'm all about the props. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2. Let this leg be passively, comfortably in front of. Now, there's a little stretch here. Take the bottom leg, point up, flex down, and point up, and flex down, and point, and point. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now the same leg is going to point forward, flex back, point, keep it off the ground. So the inner thigh should be working. All these inner thigh muscle groups, when we strengthen them, they help with balance, they help with getting up hills for hiking, they help with getting up stairs. Now the next one, think to yourself, what was it? It was circles. 1, think about a big melon you're tracing. 5, the other way, I'm going to flex. Nice job, guys. All right, I'm going to grab a sip and then let's take a few stretches for those hips. Nice job. A lot of that too with the outer hip was prevention for balance, because the outer hip's critical for that, and bone density. So I just had 2 clients improve their bone density DEXA score by 10 and 17 points, even though they got older. So cheers to weight training and Pilates and bone broth. My 72-year-old guy told me yesterday he did the Pilates, the weight training, and the bone broth, so, and his DEXA score went up. So keep it up. Know that we have things we can do. Now this, I know we've done it, but we're going to do 2 hip openers. One is reach your hands through the window. Karen, you might like a pillow on this one too, or just fold your mat, you know, that way your head feels in line. Now see how the hip feels. I'm going to add a little rock if you would like. You can add that. You don't have to. And let your exhale be analogous to how you're releasing tension out of your glute and your piriformis, as well as your CO2. If you're good with this stretch and you want to stay, you can. I'm going to offer teapot, which is where you fall over. Your right foot hits the floor and your knee opens up. I actually let my left hand push it open, and then my right arm opens out to the side. So like a Y or a T. So there's a hip opener, a low back opener, and a chest shoulder opener. Good. Oh, this is one of my favorite stretches. I hope you enjoy it. Breathe in through your nose if you can. Inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to lie on the back, and before we switch sides, just take a hand to each knee really lightly and stir the pot. So do you feel any difference on your right and left glute or hip? I sure do. My right hip feels way more open. So yes, you too. I love it, Michelle. Great. Reach your hand through the window and grab your thigh and do hip opener. And I was going to tell you with your hip, Michelle, just sort of listen to it. If it doesn't want to be overstretched, you know how to back off. You can just really listen to your body. So everything feels good and therapeutic and nothing hurts. So if you want to do a rock on this, we can rock. If you want to do an ankle roll, you're finding out what does your body need. Now the breath is magic. The breath is breathing in really fully. It's going to drive your nervous system to relax. And here's a trick during your day. If you hear bad news, or if you're processing an issue in your life, you're trying to figure out, your muscles sometimes tighten to that thought even if it's not right in front of you, they tighten to the thought. So scan your body, use your breath to relax muscles that will accidentally tighten in response to a thought of a stressor, and let the breath be your magical force during the day. Now, to relax muscles. Now we're going to take it to the hip opener called the teapot, or that's what I call it. Your foot's on the floor. Your right hand might push that knee out. Your left arm might go out. Okay, you're going to feel some hip, maybe low back, and left shoulder and left chest. Now the breath, we add that magical breath. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, you're going to slowly bring it in. A hand to each knee, stir the pot, let your body relax. We're going to be doing a rotational stretch next. So the left leg is going to go pretty long. The right knee is going to go over. The left hand can rest on that knee, and the right hand can take about 3 circles to really circulate the shoulder. This is synovial fluid. And then let the arm stay out like a T or a Y. Your gaze is that way, but then you're certainly welcome, and I encourage you to close your eyes or soften your gaze. So that is really bringing your focus inside. One benefit of the yoga and the Pilates is that we're bringing our focus inside. Breathe in a feeling of wellness and relaxation. And then as you exhale, you melt away tension, you allow relaxation to come in. You're refilling your cup. And then let's take it to the other side. Realign your spine. Take your right leg long and take your left knee over. And your hands on your thigh. 3 circles with the shoulder if you would like. And you can imagine you're at the beach and you're drawing a circle in the sand. Arm out. Now, here we go. Breathe and relax. You could let the eyes close. Take another inhale, and then as you exhale, gently come back into alignment, and see if you can find your Pilates ring or your Dynaband to do a hamstring stretch with an assist. I thought I had my Pilates ring here, but I don't see it, but that's okay. We're gonna do the stretch. Now, again, if you want a pillow or a folded mat for your head, that's okay. You're going to feel like your belly of your muscles stretching, never the sit bone, never the knee. So your exhale is relaxing you, your shoulders are relaxing. This is the linear hamstring stretch. Good. We're going to feel all stretched out, guys. We're going to feel so good. Yep, it's going to be great. Let your breath rejuvenate. Let your breath fill you with relaxation. We don't get many chances during the day to do this kind of work. It's real easy to get the other way, so now we're soothing, we're parasympathetic, helping that parasympathetic system bring us to homeostasis, bring us to wellness. Take that leg across the midline. Oh, that one feels so good. It's outer hamstring. If you tightened up anywhere in the back or the jaw, this is a great exhale chance to relax it. And then take that leg out to the side and notice how calming that is on the inner thigh and inner hamstring. Yeah. You might be able to get deeper than you often do just because we've really done a good job of stretching these muscles out. Breathe fully. Notice the elasticity in your breathing muscles. And when you breathe fully, this is also helpful for the pelvic floor without you having to even add a cue. The pelvic floor knows how to respond to deep breathing. So it's a sort of an indirect route to help the pelvic floor, to help the nervous system, to help the blood pressure, to help the immunity, to help all the hormones, diffuse stress hormones and bring in wellness hormones. See how powerful we do have focus on our wellness. All right, guys, let's switch it up. Take your other hamstring in that Dynaband or in that ring, whatever you have, and just feel how nice that one leg is that we stretched out is on the floor. Bring wellness to your hamstring. Move that leg across a little bit, the midline. Take it out a little bit so you feel like your inner hamstring and your inner thigh get a bit of stretching. Let the breath be long and full. Take an inhale. Slowly take both feet up. So you're going to put both feet in your Dynaband, in your hamstring stretcher. All right, both are in. It's okay if you want to do a little left and right movement. Double. This is a posterior chain. Relax. This is so good to help the back as well. Relax your mind. Slowly release the feet from there and take the feet soles together in a bound angle. Now the arms can be up like a field goal post, and let gravity pull your knees down. Gently lie onto your arm and take your top foot into your hand. This is a quad stretch, but if you prefer or have better success with the foam roller lying on your back, you can do that. I just want you to access your quad stretch the best way you can. I'm going to stay with this one today, just to stay in that calm space. Now the breath here, let's add the magic of the breath. Breathe in fully. Feel the breath go real low. And then we're going to do the other side. Take that hand to your foot, and you're going to put your heel behind you. Breathe real fully. Let all the tension go. There's nothing to figure out. There's nothing to be identified with. Just rejuvenation. You can imagine you're plugging yourself into the wall, filling yourself up with wellness, or like you're putting water on a plant when you were gone a few days and you're just plumping it up with wellness, turning it towards the sunshine. Bring it in, fill it up. And then as you're ready, you can just rest in Shavasana, or you can put your legs up on the wall. Whatever works for you, or legs up on a prop and then on the wall. Like a yoga block or a roller. Just do what your body says. Try a little relaxation with a full breath, as if you're counting to 10 with your breathing inside. You're exhaling to 10. Breathing in for the count of 10. Exhaling for 10. Breathing in. Release the foam roller or the yoga block if you're on one. Slowly come back to a seated position, and you're going to be upright in a restful, erect spine, but nothing aggressive, just sort of let it go. So take a moment to notice how you feel. You can put a hand on the heart and let the other one cover it, and just bask in that sense of wellness. Bask in that sense of clarity, sure-footedness, solidarity, that union of you with you, your union with your mind, body, breath, resonance, rejuvenation. And this is one thing we can do. Sometimes it feels like so much is out of our control, but what we're going to practice is this feeling of the things we can. We can do all of these acts of wellness. We can shower our body, breath, and mind with these loving acts of wellness. And in our full cup, we are better used to the world anyway. So today I'm going to focus on all the things I can do towards wellness. All these ideas are open to me as I experience this wellness. It becomes my normal place. I'm going to go out as best I can and look for ways to be well with so much appreciation. Thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed class. Thank you so much. It's a little different in a neat way. Yeah, it's so fun to have you guys with your open personalities be open to different ways of wellness. I really appreciate that way we co-create